Today we're going to show you construction techniques for the VECS palate expander. This is a palate expander that is made in the United States of America and is 100% stainless steel. The laboratory construction is similar to a traditional palate expander, but there are a few minor differences that need to be accounted for. You may notice a small gap present between the expansion plates. This is not a problem. The VECS palate expander will still evenly open the full expansion distance. When closing the expander, stop turning the activation screw once you feel resistance. Do not attempt to further tighten the expander to force the gap closed, for this may damage the device. Also, the expander may feel a little flimsy. However, once installed in the patient, the framework will solidly lock into place, allowing a little room for error in the construction process. We start by getting a piece of wax. You can use boxing wax or, as shown here, orthodontic wax. Roll the wax into a ball about 3 mm in diameter and put it on the incisal edges of the incisor. The purpose of this wax is to ensure proper clearance for the activation key that the patient will use. Setting the key on the wax allows us to position the body at the correct angle in the palate so the patient can easily insert the key without hitting the incisors. Now that we have found the position for proper clearance, we will begin flaring the arms and start forming the expander. Azure Ortho provides a specialized key in its lab kit that easily slides onto the mounting arms, allowing you to bend them properly. It is highly recommended that you get the Azure lab kit because traditional tools for bending arms, such as bird beak pliers or 3-prong pliers, are too large and will not work with this expander. During the forming process, it is important to check that the expander is positioned such that it allows for proper clearance. Once the expander is in this particular stage, you can use pliers to customize the wire framework like you would with a traditional framework, but be careful not to bend the guiding pins while handling the expander, for this will hinder the expansion process. When this is completed, we want to be able to take the VECS palate expander, put the lab key in, and set it on the palate with the appropriate clearance. Once this is accomplished, the wire framework can be bent into the appropriate positions. The rest of the construction is carried out like a traditional palate expander, by soldering the arms onto the bands or bending them into a configuration for use with acrylic. After completing the soldering and cleanup, you should have an expander that looks like this. If you accidentally heat up the activation screw area during the soldering process, check the O-ring located behind the activation screw head, as it can be heated too much and lose its properties. Note the discoloration of the damaged O-ring. If you can turn the activation screw by hand, the O-ring must be replaced. This O-ring is crucial to the proper operation of the VECS palate expander, which can slowly contract in the palate if a damaged O-ring is installed. If the O-ring has been damaged, you can take it off and replace it with an extra provided in the Azure Ortho lab kit or a standard O-ring that can be obtained from an orthodontic office. Once the damaged O-ring has been removed, simply slip the new one onto the neck of the activation screw head. This O-ring is used to ensure that there is a proper amount of tension on the screw head of the VECS palate expander, giving it some resistance. When doing laboratory cleanup, make sure to never submerge the expander into any toxic substances. The solution can get inside the gearbox that is inside the expander, which can harm the patient. We recommend using soap and water with a toothbrush to clean it off, and then use a surface disinfectant. We hope this instructional video has helped, and thank you for choosing Azure Ortho.